lead us in a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Reverend Morton, would you please give an invitation?
Let us all pray. Oh, most gracious and heavenly Father, we come thanking you for allowing us to be here today. We gather together as a city of residents who come now to hear from our leader, from the mayor of this city. We ask now, God, that you will continue to guide us as we continue to do the work that you have called each of us to do in this city. We ask, God, that you will continue to bless every household that is in these 4.2 square miles. God, we ask that you keep us ever reminded that we are among the human race and that we together will make things better. God, we ask now, God, that you open up our minds and our hearts that we might receive the words that are going to come before us. God, that we might know what our duties and responsibilities are to move the city forward, to encourage the young and to take care of the elderly and to be good citizens, compassionate and also having mercy to each one of us. God, we thank you for the opportunity to gather in this place as we come to look forward to the future of our city. This we pray in Jesus' name. Let everyone say amen.
Amen. Amen.
Seated. Ready. Face. Forward. March.
Please be seated. Sir, I believe there's correspondence.
Yes, Dr. President. March 14th, Honorable City Council members. Dear City Council members, please accept this as notification that pursuant to the obligation and authority vested in me in Article 6, Section 63 of the City Charter of the City of Mount Vernon, I intend to deliver the 2018 State of the City Address during the City Council meeting today, March 14, 2018 at 7:00 p.m. in the City Council chambers. I look forward to delivering this brief and briefing to the City Council. Respectfully, Richard Thomas, Mayor of the City of Mount Vernon, C.C. Deborah Reynolds, Comptroller, C.C. Lawrence Bakari, Corporation Counsel. Thus ends the communication, Madam President.
All right. Thank you, Bud Brown. So in a moment, I will formally introduce the mayor, but let me address a few housekeeping rules. I'm told the speech will be less than an hour. During that time, no questions will be asked, and I respectfully request that everyone is also respectful during the remarks. At the conclusion of the speech, as you can see, we have monitors and such. We're going to dismantle that, and then we will go into the regular order of our City Council meeting, which will start with the speakers, referrals, and then our legislation. And if you feel that you cannot stand, and I know it's awfully cold in here, there's seats available. There's seats available downstairs. There's seats available downstairs in the rotunda. And gentlemen, please remove your hats. So at this time, I'm going to call on Ayanna Smash to do the national anthem, and after such time, I will introduce the mayor. Ms. Smash, everyone please stand.
Come up here.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh, you may be seated. I'm sorry. Roll call.
Councilwoman Duarte.
Present.
Councilwoman Parkinson.
Here.
Councilman Griffin.
Present.
Councilman Wallace.
Here.
Council President Copeland.
Present. So it's good to see so many of you here. I wish we had this kind of attendance at our regular meetings. But through my prior life, almost 18 years here, and upon our return, I have found in government, you start with where you agree, and then you work towards the hard things. So myself and the mayor have been working and meeting behind the scenes, trying to work on things that we agreed on and this body agrees on. So I'm happy to say we found some common ground. Not all the time, but we found some common ground. A couple of months ago, I had the opportunity, along with the Vice President of American Christmas, to travel abroad to their headquarters in Austria. And it's a great opportunity that I think that will boost the economy, Madam Controller, once we work the numbers. And we recently had a follow-up meeting, myself and Bob Soloff, who's the Vice President of American Christmas, and we have some great opportunities here. And I'm happy at this time to introduce our mayor to come present the state of the city.
Hello, good evening. Yeah, I'm good.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's my honor and pleasure to address the people of Mount Vernon and to tell them about the state of our city. And it's strong. The City Council President, City Council President Copeland, thank you for your introduction and your remarks, especially about the economic travel that you took on for the city, because bringing jobs and bringing new ideas forward to fruition is really what we need to be doing, not just as a government, but as a community and as a city. So American Christmas, MK Illumination, get ready for unleashing imagination on our streets in a major way. That's going to move tourism and make Mount Vernon not just a place, but a major destination again. So thank you again for that. City Council members, thank you so much for welcoming me here tonight. And Controller, thank you for joining us. Before I get started, I have to thank God. And I want to start by reading Scripture, Matthew 5, verses 9 through 12. It says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven, for in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." I have to thank my wife, Cherish. Cherish, please stand. We have been together for 18 years. She's not only the mother of my children, excuse me.
You know something I don't know?
Our two beautiful children who are 5 and 2, and they're going to the Mount Vernon City Public Schools. So everybody can be proud. But she's my best friend, she's my rock, my anchor. She and I have been through so much trials and tribulations. And all I can say is I love you so much. I can't thank you enough. I also have to thank Ambassador Andrew Young, who was rock steady with Dr. Martin Luther King. And I have to thank him for sharing his words of encouragement with me throughout this process. And just from someone who has seen some really dark days to tell me that there's light ahead is truly encouraging and inspiring. So I have to thank Ambassador Young and all those just like him, from the culture class around town to the churches, the synagogues, all the outreach and outpouring of love and support. I want to say thank you all. So, to address the elephant in the room, and not the 2 Republicans that are here. I see you back there. Earlier this week, accusations were made by Attorney General Eric Schneiderman against me. And let me just say up front, the allegations are false. They stem from campaign rules and regulations and have nothing to do with my tenure as mayor and have nothing to do with how I've conducted myself as mayor. Since the people of Mount Vernon voted in 2015 for a 35-year-old lifelong native son from the south side of the city to move Mount Vernon forward. You learn a lot when you run for mayor. And one thing is how much campaign finance laws are in need of reform. They are vague, confusing, and contradictory. It's always my intention to do what is legal and ethical. Throughout the campaign, I was advised by counsel, so I'm confident that when all this is sorted out, I will be fully vindicated. confidence in our legal system. And I have no doubt that I will be proven innocent and my campaign in full compliance. I encourage people to work within the system. From our seniors to our kids, if you see something wrong, bring it to the people that are responsible for fixing them. That includes me or Attorney General Schneiderman. The bottom line is we have to have faith in the system. And I want what is best for Mount Vernon. So with that, let me tell you how the city is responding to the needs of our residents and how I will continue to govern as your mayor. My goal within the next hour is to tell you how Mount Vernon is moving forward. And let me start by talking about the compass we are using to move us forward. Now, Mount Vernon is only 4.4 square miles, but it's a tricky place to navigate sometimes. You know, standard GPS won't get the job done. You need a compass that, you know, is working for you. One that means the most for the 70,000 people that are calling Mount Vernon home. Our compass has 5 guideposts, and we call them the 5 C's. They are community, competence, communication, compassion, and capital. Community encompasses all the actions we take to enhance our quality of life. Competence focuses on delivering services that are affordable, responsive, and effective. Communication keeps the city informed and engaged. Compassion is never forgetting that the business of government is raising people up, not bringing them down. Especially when people need it most. Capital covers the ideas and the resources we use to invest in our future. So let's see how our state of the city measures up. So, community. There's nothing more important than the quality of life of our community. Public safety being the most important. We know that crime is public enemy number 1. And the very good news is that Mount Vernon continues to grow safer, but some sad news is that just last night, someone did lose their life to illegal gun and drug activity, and that's something that we've been working very hard to eradicate on our streets. So I ask that we pause for a moment of silence for this young person that did lose their life to senseless violence on our streets last night. Thank you. This unfortunate tragic event does tell us that we have more work to do ahead. But as we look back, we can see that serious crime is down 32% since 2011. And it's not just me saying it. The statistics from the Mount Vernon Police Department on an annual basis confirm it. Each week, the Mount Vernon Police Department tracks 7 major crimes. And the results are published on my blog at medium.com/@MayorRichThomas. So they're available for the public to see. This is transparency that lets everyone track our progress. The weekly reports are compiled into annual reports. And here are the results for 2017. Across the 7 major categories, all the bad stuff that can happen to people and property has dropped by 32%. We can clap for that. Come on, down in every category. So chart 1, as you can see, it shows 32% drop is dramatic. But even more important, it's continuous. Chart 2, crime is down 3% from 2016, down 8% from 2015, down 10% from 2014, down 29% since 2013. down 23% since 2012 and 32% since 2011. This is real progress. This is real progress. Safer streets and neighborhoods. And the results were achieved by building a new era of trust between the police and the community. And it didn't happen by accident. We have the right leadership in place. In January, after a nationwide search and on the recommendation of our citizens group, Commissioner Sean Harris, born and raised here to become one of Mount Vernon's finest, was permanently installed in our top police post as commissioner. Other leadership appointments were made as well, but good policing requires the right fit with the community, and we have that here in Mount Vernon. We also have strong management practices in place. For example, each week I meet with the commissioner and top brass to go over everything from top to bottom in the police department to make sure that we're doing everything we can to improve and that the rank and file are receiving all the resources and training that they need to continue to do their job safer and better every day. And we have the right partnerships in place to do just that. These partners include the FBI, the DEA, the Bureau of Alcohol, Firearms, and Tobacco, the MTA Police, the NYPD, State and County Police, and the District Attorney. It's through these partnerships that we greatly leverage our capabilities to catch, convict, and incarcerate. Another key partner is the Mount Vernon School District. No initiative is more important than our School Resource Officer Program, where men and women from our police department serve as protectors, role models, and most importantly, friends to our children. Our outreach also includes the police department's community immersion program, as well as programs of coffee with a cop. And this is why you see many of our officers walking around the streets shaking hands, because they're focused on knocking down barriers, knocking on doors, and promoting dialogue. No safety shield is greater than the two-way trust between the community and our police officers. And moving into 2018, the city's crime-fighting capabilities will get a major boost from 15 new officers. I have to thank the new city council for making sure that the department got better funded, because the overall result is a safer Mount Vernon. Safer for our kids, safer for our families. So thanks to our police department and law enforcement partners for making Mount Vernon safer. It's no accident that as crime has gone down, property values have gone up. And when you think about that relationship, you also have to think about fire insurance rates becoming more generous, because we have a much bigger, stronger, braver fire department. They are doing record calls of service. They are doing it with equipment that is on its last legs, but they're doing the job day in, day out. So I have to say thank you to the bravest who are here with us today. Thank you. So for homeowners, you can see this dynamic duo as the safety dividend, because the numbers show it. The median price of a single family home in Mount Vernon as of January was $400,000. That's up from $365,000 a year ago, a gain of 10%. Condo prices are up over 25%. That's a big jump from $185,000 to $234,000. Even co-ops posted 2%. Even But there's more good news for homeowners, because the number of homes on market are shrinking and that means prices go up. Homeowners are receiving also 95% of their asking prices. This speaks directly to Mount Vernon's desirability as a place to live and raise your family. Safety catalyzes quality of life, and quality of life sends property values higher. The Mount Vernon community is on the rise. So I want to say thank you to all the realtors, all of you here in Mount Vernon that have contributed to making this happen. Let's turn to competence. Just like fighting crime as a team sport, so is running government. We have a new controller, Deborah Reynolds. Thank you, Controller. We have a new City Council President, Council President Copeland. And 2 new City Council members, Janice Duarte and Delia Farquharson, who join our incumbents, Marcus Griffith and Andre Wallace. As elected officials, the people of Mount Vernon have placed their faith in us to manage the city. It is our responsibility to ensure that each tax dollar returns value. As mayor, it's my job to set the mission and vision. The controller and council provide insight and oversight. Through dialogue, we can move forward. Dialogue can include disagreement. And let's be real. Nobody brings more passion to disagreement than Mount Vernon. Like, yeah, you can top that. Come on, man. We love our city. And that's okay, because we do love our city. It shows that we care enough to get into the arena. But we can't allow our passion to paralyze us, because collaboration is the antidote. In January, I sent to the council a list of initiatives for us to move forward on together. And on top of that list is the cable TV contract. Now this is a no-brainer because everyone wins. The new cable TV contract will pay the city $1 million annually. It will lower bills for residents, especially our seniors, down from $275 a month down to about $20 a month. That's a big drop. It will increase internet speeds and eliminate data caps. So all you teenagers, get ready, right? But also, it will provide public access broadcasting from City Hall. So I'm eager and ready to assist the council in getting the cable contract signed. The emphasis is on eager. You know, I'm often asked, what are we waiting for when I go to the Dole Center? The time is now to give the people of Mount Vernon a cable contract. Yeah. But I'm really looking forward to working with the City Council on a comprehensive plan. The city's development potential has never been greater. But a smart and strategic development requires a blueprint, not a haphazard approach, which we've been subject to. At its heart, the comprehensive plan will balance the many and varied needs of our city. It will ensure fairness, protect integrity, create transparency, speed, results, and demonstrate professionalism. A comprehensive plan also makes it easier to protect the city in case of emergencies. So, Con Edison, they get an epic fail for the way they managed the recent power outages earlier this month. And it thumbs down for that, right? It's time for Con Edison to put its electrical wires underground. This is the 21st century, and Con Edison must move into the 21st century. A comprehensive plan will help speed that transition, but after dialogue earlier today with Council President Copeland, we reached an accord in developing joint legislation to pass a local law requiring Con Edison to underground their cables over the next 10 to 15 years here in the city of Mount Vernon. So that's something that we look forward to. And we're also supporting Supervisor Paul Finer's effort to achieve a New York State tax credit for homeowners that want to invest in whole house generators that were left in the dark and abandoned, because its electric reliability is essential. So that's something that we look forward to advocating in Albany for, because it's very important that the lights stay on. So I'm asking all the leaders in the community for their input on this, because again, we stand ready in any way to work together with our council and our controller to produce documents, legislation that preserves our proud past and gives our residents the future that they want and deserve. Now, part of competence is compliance. As the 8th largest city in New York State, Mount Vernon has obligations. And these obligations must be met every day so that we protect the health, safety, and financial well-being of our residents. For too many years, Mount Vernon treated too many of these obligations as options. Government is not a restaurant menu where you get to pick and choose and what you want to pay for, what you don't. As the chief elected officer of the city, I can tell you that Mount Vernon must deliver all of the services that it is obligated to provide, be it financial, legal, and environmental. Many of our conversations with the controller and council members since January have been around the understanding of the consequences if we fail to act on these very important initiatives. So our actions and our inactions count every day. But one of 3 of our most delayed obligations, progress is being made. So I want to talk about HUD. A top-to-bottom audit of our urban renewal agency is underway to sort through years of mismanagement. Things were so bad that the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development had threatened to cut off our funding. Community development block grants. I mean, it can't be overstated how critical CDBG funds are. The money fills gaps to help pay for after-school programs, Meals on Wheels, programs for our seniors, our kids. And just a couple of weeks ago, the city council chambers were packed just like this, advocating for CDBG funds to be allocated toward different community needs. Even with the millions from the federal government, there's never enough funding to meet all the demand that's out there. But if you take that away, we'll have a full-out disaster on our streets. So in recent months, because of our good faith efforts to fix the broken system, promote transparency and protect the public good and be good stewards of public dollars, HUD has agreed to keep funds flowing during the audit. Once the audit results are in, we will take all the steps necessary to bring the URA into full compliance with all HUD regulations and guidelines. We believe that money, millions of dollars, is owed to the city, or it may have been misused, and we must get to the bottom of it. There's no option here. Only compliance will ensure the future flow of CDBG dollars into our community. So we'll keep you posted, especially as this year's grant awards will be announced in the coming weeks. I want to just take a moment to acknowledge Commissioner O'Carter, Deputy Commissioner Bolivar, and Deputy Commissioner Molina for their hard work of diving into this. Look, it's Wakanda. Mount Vernon is a new Wakanda, all right? We're also also making progress on our sewers. In November of last year, our DPW started work on the sewers around the 3rd Street Bridge near the Hutchinson River to bring that into compliance as well. Now, I'm pleased to report that the modernization of the project to lay 2,000 feet of new 24-inch pipe is already complete. Working with the State Department of Transportation, we finished the project in half the time and half the cost, saving about $1 million at least. But more importantly is that there was a homeowner that was displaced because of the disgusting mess that had been ignored for 14 years. She was ran out of her home at November during Thanksgiving. She was pushed out, forced out. And just right after the new year, we were able to get her back into her home because of the hard work that was done by our DPW. So thank you guys for all that. That's delivering results. And there's so much more. In January, using everything from brooms to shovels to giant front-end loaders, DPW began to clean up its yard off of Sanford Boulevard. Again, this was to fulfill a consent agreement to comply with state and federal environmental standards. The result will be transformative. A garage, gas tanks, parking lot, and salt sheds sprawled across 20 acres will be consolidated into 2. And the land, the waterfront, will be reopened to Mount Vernon to become Mount Vernon Shores, a park with ball fields, a jogging trail and bike pathways that will extend up to Wilson Woods Pool all the way from Target and beyond. It will also have boat access, and we're working on bringing a ferry from Mount Vernon to City Island and then Oyster Bay, so people can go out and this will be the first time that the public will gain access to the Hutch River in 125 years. Years of inaction is finally being replaced with action. It has taken 14 years, but the rethinking, repositioning, rejuvenating Mount Vernon is working and it's underway. No, I'm looking for my, here it is. There you go. There will even be sand. Yay! This sand, yes, so JB Smooth joked about bringing the beach to Mount Vernon, right? Now he has to bring an Oscar, because this is coming, this right? Love you, JB. No, I really do, he's a good dude from Mount Vernon. Let's give it up for JB Smooth. But this sand is from Montego Bay, courtesy of Mr. Bailey, and courtesy from, yes? And it comes with a pledge from Jamaica's Prime Minister, the Prime Minister of Barbados, and Anguilla have all committed to bring sand to Mount Vernon shores. And the sandboxes that are going to be in our parks throughout the community to plant island culture firmly in the hands of our children and our seniors who can share their heritage and tradition. That is big. So I would say thank you. The prospects are really exciting, and I invite everyone to be a part of this renaissance. But frankly, one of the reasons Mount Vernon had compliance issues in the past is that our approach to governing had only one speed, and that was crisis management. So it's time to get the city on a more normal footing with a firmer financial foundation, and I ask everybody to take a look at.
This is a story about a crisis and the actions taken to reverse it. Prior to 2016, the outgoing mayor has slashed the budgets of key departments. To make matters worse, The former comptroller constantly delayed and refused to pay bills. Things got so bad that at one point, during a snowstorm, the DPW had no money to put gas in its plow trucks. So the new mayor went to court to force the comptroller to pay the city's bills. And he won, but the legal wrangling took months. In the meantime, the city faced a crisis. Some departments didn't have enough money to operate. Take the case of the building department. Essential positions had been slashed. This meant the building department did not have enough people to do safety inspections and process permits. Fewer inspections put residents at risk and reduced the city's revenues. This at a time when homeowners and businesses were already overburdened with high taxes. Mount Vernon relies on property taxes to pay a whopping 57% of its bills, much higher than White Plains and New Rochelle. To stop the madness, the mayor asked the city's Industrial Development Agency for help. The job of the IDA is to promote and safeguard the economic vitality of the city. Immediately, consultants from the IDA teamed up with city workers. The culture changed and concrete results flowed. The turnaround was impressive. Safety and finances improved. In the case of the LaPorte Apartments on Gramerton Avenue, a lawsuit over safety was resolved, with the city getting $300,000 from the developer for improvements to Hartley Park and other city activities. Building department revenues also bounced back to over $1 million. The solution worked, but now it's time to move away from the reliance on the IDA. The mayor is asking the comptroller and the city council to properly fund all of our departments in 2018. It's just common sense. When departments are properly staffed, essential services strengthen and the tax burden eases. The results for residents are higher property values and a better quality of life. Working together is how Mount Vernon marches forward.
And we are working together. Serious conversations are underway. And, the comptroller, the city council, you heard it. All I can say is thank you for just having the dialogue. It's been 2 long years, but we're here. And I believe that by dialogue, we'll be able to address whatever shortages the departments have through the city budget and move away from the reliance on the IDA to prop each of the departments up. It's wrong for our residents, but the decision is right for our future. It's people's safety, it's people's investment, it's their homes, it's inspectors that need to be on our streets doing the right thing with the right tools, and the right time is right now to fund these departments. So I ask you to please work with us to make sure that we can hire the right people to work within our city agencies. And this is essential because if Mount Vernon is to build back its reputation as a place where timetables are met and enforcement is objective and consistent, that's something that we must get done, and we cannot get it done without a firm financial foundation. Underneath our departments, they need it because we have to break this cycle of perpetual crisis management. The good old, boring, dull, mundane management is how we deliver steady, competent government. So we have to get back to that speed. Now, communication. Communication flows naturally from competent government. And one of our fundamental obligations is to keep people informed. To get the word out from City Hall, we have activated a number of resources. The easiest way to stay informed is to read our weekly report. As you can see it on the screen, it's a summary of the highlights of the week, and it's packaged in an easy-to-read format with headlines, pictures, and links to articles and videos. It appears on the homepage of the city's website at cmvny.com under the banner Mayor's Weekly Reports, or better yet, you can get your own copy sent directly to you if you become a subscriber to the email list. Just hit the subscribe button link at the top right of the screen. It's just that easy. But for more immediate news, you can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I don't do Snapchat, I'm sorry. Just don't do Snapchat. Aren't they? Anyway, let me say. Although it may be not the newest technology, but radio. Radio is a mainstay communication tool for us. Tuesday mornings at 7:30 a.m. and Fridays at 5, you can listen and talk to me on WVOX. That's 1460-1460 on your AM dial. Throughout the week, I visit other local stations as well. But communication works best when it's two ways, and radio is a way that we're able to deliver that. So we get feedback in real time, be it good, bad, gloves on, gloves off. We appreciate the dialogue no matter what because it helps make the city better. But if you want to write us, you can email us at mayorthomas@cmvny.com, and we'll be staying in touch. You just need to let us know what pothole needs to be filled, what sidewalk needs to be leveled, what street light needs to be turned on. And speaking of street lights, I'm proud to share that all the street lights in the city will be replaced in the next year, and we're doing it through the New York State Power Authority, not a prior arrangement that didn't work well for Mount Vernon. So I'm really excited to see that happen. Now, compassion. I want to go to compassion because government exists because of our collective strength is much bigger, better, and stronger than any one individual. It's how well our government protects the most vulnerable. And it's how we are measured, not just in the realm of the flesh, but the realm of the spirit. Mount Vernon is tested every day. And one area where the need is great is hunger. In a country and city, there are people that go hungry. In Mount Vernon, almost 25% of our residents don't always know where their next meal is going to come from. And Cherish and some of my family members can tell you that I was one of those kids, not knowing. Sometimes having roaches crawl out of my iron. Studying late at Dunkin' Donuts on Gramerton to make sure that I can get ready for the SATs or some other debate while going through high school. The gap in hunger comes to 3 million meals a year. 3 million. But I want to show you how we're working to fight it.
In July of 2017, Mayor Richard Thomas started the Mount Vernon Fresh Market Produce Distribution Program, which is a partnership between the Food Bank of Westchester and the City of Mount Vernon. About 50 families came out to our first distribution. It's now over 200 families every 2 weeks. We focus on the working poor, people who need help to stretch their budgets. 49% of Mount Vernon lives below poverty, and Mayor Thomas is doing everything he can to lower that number.
It's so good for those in between because there's so many families that they lose their job and they have to go back home and live on their mother, live on their grandmother. So these programs lift us.
It does help financially because I can stretch the dollar a little more.
From like going grocery shopping, you can save a whole lot of money going grocery shopping in a month.
Our distributions are every other Friday afternoon from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. to make it as convenient as possible for people who are working. It's also a good time for socializing.
How you doing? All right, good to see you. God bless you. How you doing? All right?
Good. I heard you married.
In the cold months, we are here at the Dole Center. In the warmer months, we are in the parking lot off Prospect across from Food Town. What's so great about our program is that we are putting healthy food into the bags and baskets of the people who come each week.
The impact is that children are able to also pay much more attention in school. Also, families are able to provide for their children, and mothers and fathers are not feeling as pressured in order to be able to just allow their children to have nutritious meals.
I can tremendously say I've seen great improvements in my health. You know, I've lost a little weight. Fresh food is hard to find, and you need the fresh food to provide the nutrients that the body needs.
So it's very good for the elderly most of all, and for the young people.
It's nice to know we're helping. None of this would be possible without volunteers.
I like to do things for people, you know, and help people, you know. I've always been that way all my life. I'm 62 years old, and I enjoy helping people.
I've met people from all income levels that this pantry's been able to supplement their groceries. Children have been able to eat, and we need more of this.
We've been able to address hunger in a major way. We're on track to cut 1/3 of hunger in the city of Mount Vernon. And we're so excited because there's just as much giving as there is receiving. And we are just very thankful and grateful for the relationship. And we're getting it done the simple way, hands-on and helping people. Mount Vernon moving forward.
Mount Vernon moving forward.
I can tell you, I can't thank these two amazing men for doing this. You know, they both took up the challenge and got it rocking. So all I can say is let's keep rolling. Thank you so much, guys and gals. I bet you there's an over-under on how many Wakandas I do right now. I bet she's being led by Fire Union President Kevin Holt. Looking out for the text, all right? In our country, governments don't have feelings or hearts, but people do. And there's no better example of how we can partner with government to show compassion than our food pantry programs. And one more point I just have to say, in addition to the pantry, we deliver meals daily to homes of more than 140 seniors. We're putting a big dent into hunger. Now, the fifth ring is capital. We're almost there, ladies and gentlemen, I promise. We're almost done. How am I doing in that 1 hour mark? Close? Investing capital wisely is how we ensure the future of Mount Vernon for all of our residents. Put the right ideas together with enough money, and people will be knocking on the door. Mount Vernon's growth prospects has never been greater. And affordability, accessibility make Mount Vernon a prime target for transit-oriented development. Our costs are much cheaper than New York City. Rents and taxes are both lower, believe it. They are. And Mount Vernon is a gateway to anywhere goods or people need to get. No other municipality can boast that we have 3 Metro North train stations. Easy access to the subways, buses, and major highways. And we also have a port, an industrial port. The next port, industrial port, is 180 miles away, upstate New York. We have what we need to succeed, and we should never be afraid to stick our necks out to achieve. Affordability and accessibility create value. And this is exactly what millennials, entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, artists, empty nesters, small manufacturers all want. Attracting investment requires partnerships, especially in older urban cities like Mount Vernon. And this is where our Industrial Development Agency, whose prime role is to safeguard and invigorate our local economy, comes into play. Make no mistake, plenty of Mount Vernon is doing just fine. And just last week, the New York Times real estate section outed us and said that we are a hidden paradise. It's true. In fact, all around the city, people come up to me constantly and say, Mayor, Mayor, Mr. Mayor, we don't need any more development. We're done. Traffic, congestion, we don't need it. I get it. I hear you. I understand. But other parts of the city are starving for investment. Desperate for revitalization. The challenge is that in the places where investment is needed, the streets with zombie buildings, boarded up storefronts, attracting capital is most difficult. The reason is no secret. Developers are good at arithmetic. To stay in business or to stay in business, they need to make money. Distressed properties are risky. If the numbers don't work, they stay away. That's where the IDA comes in. The IDA can provide financial incentives to make the numbers work. Not just for developers, but for Mount Vernon. The most common incentive is called pilots, or payments in lieu of taxes. Not everyone is a fan of pilots, only on airplanes. Critics like the school district argue that the city, which struggles to make ends meet, should not give tax breaks to anyone, and certainly not developers. But let me explain why pilots are vital to Mount Vernon's economic growth. First, they're not giveaways. Each tax break must be justified. The IDA does this by engaging third-party experts to review and conduct a full cost-benefit analysis to make sure that the costs are outweighed by the benefits, contributing to our economic resurgence. And what's helpful is knowing that we have a great team that's been focused on moving the city forward. But what's not helpful is costly litigation, unnecessary between the city and the school district. It's like our residents suing each other. The objective is not for the lawyers to get rich. The objective is for the residents, property owners, our children, the next generation to get rich. To pass that wealth down, that heritage and tradition. Not waste time fighting each other. Life is gift. And we have to rally around and combat our shared enemy, economic stagnation. So, let's talk about some facts. Fact, the bills to run city and its schools never get smaller. Fact, taxpayers are already overburdened. Fact, sustaining services requires new sources of revenue. In short, if we don't grow, we perish. And I invite the school district and everybody out there to read Who Moved My Cheese? Or Who Moved the Cheese? All right? It's a great story. It is a good story, for management purposes as well. But I'm proud to say we're growing. Evidence is all around us. Companies are investing capital and creating jobs. Just today, Ace Natural, a leading distributor of organic foods, will be moving more than 40 jobs to Mount Vernon. Investing millions in its new location on East Sanford Boulevard. So congratulations to all those Blue Apron customers. You got one of your suppliers right here in the city of Mount Vernon. 22 Southwest Street is a mixed-use development for 4,000 square feet of commercial retail space and 189 apartments adjacent to the Mount Vernon West train station. Wow. The Enclave is a 5-building development on McQuestion Parkway, adjacent to the Fleetwood Metro North train station, 179 market rate units. 42 Broad Street is the city's first luxury apartment complex in decades. It will create 249 market rate units and enhance the Fleetwood parking garage. So to the developers that are behind these projects, thank you for your faith in Mount Vernon. Thank you for doing business and helping to grow our city. But there's one project that must move forward. That's Library Square. The idea is to create a downtown transit-oriented arts district on the south side of Mount Vernon. 4th Avenue coming back from there. This will be situated around the library and the old YMCA, near the Mount Vernon East train station. The anchor will be a 320-unit complex with market and affordable apartment units. This will be built on the site of the old YMCA. Remember, they left town. They closed their doors on us. So we have to rebuild and build something bigger and better that's going to deliver for our future. It will feature state-of-the-art green technology, including small shops selling goods and services of artists living in the building. There will also be performance, rehearsal, display space for music and dance and the arts. But also really unique is the ability to pave the way for rent, pave the way for some of the subsidies, tenants. They will be able to gear their skills, particularly the artists, and turn their skills into hours of community service. That's what we want. That's how we build up each other. That's how we enrich our community. That's how we create and bring more authenticity, creativity, and compassion to our streets. This is a project that will infuse the neighborhood with a hip and youthful vibe. And it will inject dollars, new dollars, into an area that just is barren of investment. With great success, the developer that brought this very concept to Harlem can bring this same concept to Mount Vernon. So I'll ask Carlton Brown to just stand up and be recognized. The project is before the City Council, and my strong plea is that the Council move forward quickly on the necessary rezoning, and through the partnership with Council President Copeland, the $1.2 million sale of the YMCA to the developers. That's a big deal. Remember, there was like some rumors, 175 grand. I mean, it's now 1.2 million. So you can clap for $1 for the same spot. You're welcome, Carlton. You're welcome. But seriously, City Council, we hope you perform the due diligence. And remember that time is money, and the opportunity to bring arts, music, new opportunities for even the PJS Jazz Society to find places for their kids to live, or themselves to live and perfect their craft, is here in the city of Mount Vernon. So we look forward to attracting and developing even intellectual capital, but especially with respect to our seniors, which is a part of our Senior U program, but also with our youth, which is part of the Mayor's Scholarship Program. And this initiative gives $2,000 a year to students in 2-year and 4-year colleges and vocation schools. This year's scholarship are double the amount from last year, and it confirms our commitment to making sure we invest in education. But to encourage a scholarship, the Youth Bureau has after-school programs in 12 locations: STEAM, academies for science, technology, engineering, and the arts, and math. We have summer camp for 500 kids that are going to be offered by our recreation department, and applications for Youth Bureau jobs are on the city's website. In addition, our youth sports programs will provide year-round activities, and right now it is time to sign up for baseball. Baseball registration is free. We're nearing the final stretch, by the way, but this is a big deal because the registration for baseball is free. Many parents cannot afford to pay some of the costs associated for their kids to play. So everybody is welcome to sign up and play ball. It's a big deal because our kids need to be outdoors, not trapped inside, destroying your couch, and watching television. But it's not just for kids. Get ready for Universal Circus. It's coming back. Last year Universal Circus attracted over 60,000 people to come to their event in Mount Vernon. This was their first time in 25 years abandoning their prior location in the Bronx. Big up to the Bronx. But we ran shuttles from subways, Metro North train station, and got people there. People as far away as Orange County came down to be a part and enjoy the experience. So we invite all of Westchester County, all of the region, to get ready to come back and have fun at Universal Circus. And as a millennial, I will say we do things a little differently. We do believe, just as our tradition calls, in a lot of fun. So City Fest is coming back this September, which attracted over 15,000 people. We'll have the annual Pumpkin Blaze, as well as the Winter Wonderland. But no State of the City will be complete without talking about Memorial Field. Memorial Field is iconic. The Jackson 5, Mean Joe Green, legendary high school sports rivalries. For generations, Memorial Field has been one of our greatest memory generators. Not just for our city, but the entire region. It was the Barclays Center of its time. It's also a place where character is built. Great athletes and want to grow up to be great athletes, learn valuable lessons of victory and defeat, like our Razorbacks have all learned these lessons, including sportsmanship. Memorial Field defines the fabric of Mount Vernon pride. But sadly, for far too long, for an unconscionable length of time, the gates of Memorial Field have been locked. And it's nice to see the Journal News recently called for an investigation. Better late than never. Whether outright fraud or fiasco of the century, it's important to unlock the truth of what really happened with the dumping of dirty dirt at our beloved park. No action has been taken, only our court action to try and bring those who may be involved to court. And I'm calling on everyone to please join us in this hunt to bring accountability to those that disgraced Mount Vernon. My commitment is immediate. Memorial Field will reopen this summer. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Memorial Field will reopen this summer. Our plan is to have grass and an 8-lane track open to the public this summer. A final design will take more time, but while the planners, accountants, lawyers, and the regulators sort all that out, there is no good reason for Memorial Field to remain shut. Memorial Field will reopen this summer because it must. We owe it to our city's kids, our parents, our grandparents. It's time to restore our legacy. It's time to introduce a new generation to Memorial Field. And I have to thank Commissioner Nigro and his team for everything that they're doing to get Memorial Field ready and open. Not just from the DPW yard, not just for everything they do to keep our streets clean, not just because they do everything to plow the snow, but this man is literally operating machinery on all these projects because he believes in Mount Vernon that much. And he and his department, we have to thank the council for funding important roles in the DPW. Just know that the work, the dedication, the passion will not change. It's only going to grow stronger. And we can add more and do more, like paving every city road, as we call and convene the Capital Projects Committee this coming spring, to get down to business, to defining not just how we're going to repave every road, level every sidewalk, but bring back major infrastructure investments into our city. That's something that we have to do, but I really look forward to seeing all of you at Memorial Field this summer. So, we end tonight where we began, with the 5 C's. Community, competence, communication, compassion, and capital. The 5 C's will keep us moving forward, and our progress will not go unchallenged. But we will not be stopped. These 5 navigational stars will keep us focused on doing the most important work for the people of Mount Vernon. And that's why we're here, to give the people of Mount Vernon the city they want, the safe city they deserve, and the city they can be proud of every day. The city that I love, the city where I was born and raised and publicly educated. The city where I was able to convince my wife to move from the other country, Long Island, here. This is our home. And on behalf of everyone at City Hall, I just want to say it's an honor to serve. Working together, we can't be stopped. Working together, we can secure a better future. Working together, we'll move Mount Vernon forward. Thank you.